G'day cocktail lovers. Now if you're a normal person, just a cocktail enjoyer, welcome, glad you're here. Hope you enjoy the video and the cocktails. But you probably, well, let's say you maybe buy some cocktail books. You might search for cocktail recipes online. But you'll just find a couple of cocktails that you like making. If you're a weirdo like me who makes videos about cocktails on the internet, you will try so many recipes. You will constantly be looking for new things to make for content, and you will try several new recipes every week. The upside of this is all that exploration is going to lead to you finding some really interesting cocktails, and cocktails that are new to you that you'll like. Over the course of a year, I'll probably find a dozen or more completely new to me cocktails, variations on classic cocktails, and I just think top tier. These are awesome. And out of those, there will be a couple that over the course of the year I go, oh man, I think this is my new favorite. This is fantastic. The downside of this, if it's a downside, is I go through so many cocktails, I end up forgetting that I found one that I thought was my new favorite. Like the veritable tsunami of cocktails drive it out of my mind. And in a couple of months, I've forgotten I ever found a new favorite. I was reminded of this recently when someone commented on an old video and I went, oh, this one. I declared this my favorite. And I don't think I've even had it in years. What's that all about? I need to try this cocktail again. With that in mind, I'm going to revisit my favorite cocktails from 2021 and 2022. And that I have not had these since 2021 and 2022. They're both Manhattan variations. At their core, they're using the Manhattan template. It's a great template. Classic Manhattan, totally straightforward. 2 parts whiskey, 1 part sweet vermouth, dash or 2 of bitters. The classics are classics for a reason. They've stood the test of time. It's a good, balanced drink. But some people get really persnickety about that. They go, don't you dare do anything to modify that classic recipe. You've got to make it exactly like this. I need to share this with you. When you come across people like that, ignore them. Better still, get the hell away from them. They're uptight, they're closing themselves off from new experiences, and I assume they just lead completely miserable lives. Don't be like that. Bartenders have always tweaked the template of classic cocktails, going back more than 100, 150 years. It's what they do. They go, well, this works. Ooh, but what if I did a little bit of this and a little bit of that? Is that going to work? This is how we get new cocktails. And for anyone who thinks it's sacrilege to mess with classic cocktails, the reason we have thousands of cocktails is an unending line of bartenders who went, I'm going to play with that. There's 5 or 6 templates, but I can do something with that. While these 2 cocktails I'm going to make are very much following the Manhattan template, in both cases, there's a split on both the spirit and the modifier side. So there's more flavors coming into these. First up, my favorite cocktail from 2021. It's called the Woodson in Ford. The spirit element of this is split between 2. It goes with apple brandy and rum. The original recipe I saw said to use Laird's bottled in bond apple brandy or Applejack. That's impossible to get in Australia. It's 50% ABV rather than the usual 40% for brandy. So I'm going with, this is actually a French Calvados, it's 40%, but so I'm going with a stronger one. The rum is a 50% ABV. This is from local distillery Jimmy Rum. This recipe has sweet vermouth in it, but it's split with Benedictine, a herbal liqueur. So it's going to be both more herbal and a little bit sweeter than just sweet vermouth in the drink. Along with a dash of bitters, that's all our ingredients. So now I'm going to show you how to make a Woodson and Ford. In a mixing glass, put 1 ounce or 30 mils of apple brandy, then 1 ounce or 30 mils of rum, then 3/4 of an ounce, around 22.5 mils of sweet vermouth, 1/4 of an ounce or 7.5 mils of Benedictine, and then 1 dash of aromatic bitters. Add ice to the glass, stir that for 20 to 25 seconds to chill and dilute the drink, and I'm straining that into a chilled Nicanora glass. That gives us the Woodson in Ford. It looks pretty much like a Manhattan, but do I remember what it tastes like? That is why I like it. Tell you what, that rum is a really bold rum. It might be overpowering it a little, but I like rum, so that's okay. This might be even better with a bit of a milder rum, but it's pretty good. I know why I liked it back in 2021. Now for my favorite cocktail of 2022. This is called Death and Taxes. It was created at the Milk and Honey Bar in New York, but the bartender who made it was an Australian, and he came back to Australia. He opened a bar here in Melbourne, where I live, called the Everleigh, and that's when the drink really got popular and became well known. As I said, this is another Manhattan variation. This splits the spirit element between whiskey and gin. The original recipe said blended scotch. I have to admit, I think that's really meaningless. It's not like blended scotch is a magical thing or it's one thing. So I say, just go with the whiskey you like. I'm using this. This is actually from Queensland. It's a very unusual bottle for whiskey, which actually put me off trying it for a while, but it's actually very good. Watkins whiskey, and we're going with a dry gin. This cocktail also has Benedictine splitting the modifier, and we're replacing sweet vermouth with Punta Mez. If you're not familiar with this, it's often described as a full-bodied or robust vermouth. It is essentially sweet vermouth blended with a bit of liqueur. So just in terms of flavor, think it's sweet vermouth, but more intense flavors and just a little bit of bitterness. This cocktail also uses orange bitters, but that's all our ingredients, so I'll show you how to make it. In a mixing glass, put 1 ounce or 30 mils of the whiskey of your choice, then 1 ounce or 30 mils of dry gin, then 3/4 of an ounce, around 22.5 mils of Punta Mez, and 1/4 of an ounce or around 7.5 mils of Benedictine, rounding things out with 2 dashes of orange bitters. Add ice to the glass, stir that for 20 to 25 seconds to chill and dilute the drink, and I'm straining that into a chilled Nick and Nora glass. So this is the Death and Taxes. It's darker than the Woodson and Ford. Let me give it a taste. This is a little bit smoother. The Punta Mez is really coming through. Just a little tang of bitterness in there actually works really well. I'm not super fond of bitter drinks. Like, I can't handle Campari. I'll never have a Negroni. But this has just got a really light element of bitterness in it that's a great contrast with the other flavors. I'm glad I remembered that this used to be my favorite, because I'm always trying new cocktails. Sometimes you gotta go back. You gotta go back to your old favorite and go, oh yeah, that's why I liked it. And for me, the Death and Taxes is a great Manhattan variation. So if you like a Manhattan, and if you like a Negroni, that little bit of bitterness, I thoroughly recommend you try this. I'm glad I went back to it. The Death and Taxes. Cheers.